Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something that honestly sounds like pure science fiction, but it's rapidly becoming business. We're talking about the longevity rate. Forever, humanity's accepted aging as inevitable, right? A basic part of life. But what if that whole idea is shifting? What if aging isn't inevitable at all? What if it's evitable? That's the really audacious ambition we're exploring today. And we're drawing on some incredible insights from Dr. Ari Masih. He's a pioneer in stem cell biology, actually, then made this fascinating jump into business specifically for tech startups. So Dr. Masih gives us overview of where things stand right now in longevity tech and, crucially, the business side. Our mission here, for maybe you're a scientist pushing boundaries or a biotech entrepreneur building the next big thing, or perhaps an investor for that next trillion-dollar wave, it really unpacks revolution. We want to highlight, prize and ground, and huge commercial topic.
It really is a profound shift, isn't it? I mean, think about it. Humanity's oldest problem, age, mortality potentially becoming its biggest economic opportunity.
Yeah.
The scale of what's happened. It isn't just about adding years. It's about fundamentally changing how we live those years. And that has, just staggering implications. For science, yes, but also for global market.
And when you say opportunities, we're not just talking theory. We're seeing serious, game-changing money already pouring into this field from some of the biggest names out there. I mean, look at the scale. Jeff Bezos, he put $3 billion into Altos Labs. Then there's Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO. He personally put $180 million into Retro Biosciences back in 2022. And now he's involved in raising another billion in 2025, specifically aiming to extend human lifespan. Plus, Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, committed $130 million to a company called New Limit.
It's quite something to see figures like that making these kinds of colossal bets. And let's be clear, this isn't, gambling money or paying for luxury yachts.
Right.
These are strategic, calculated investments in essentially the end of aging itself. It's a really powerful signal. Longevity research has definitely crossed over into what Dr. Masudi calls inevitable business reality. It's not fringe anymore.
No.
It's a frontier with tangible, immense economic potential.
And the science fueling all this, it's really breaking all the old rules. For the longest time, we thought of aging like a car wearing out.
Right, the wear and tear model.
Exactly. Inevitable rust, parts degrading. But Dr. Masudi's insights, they completely challenge that. The groundbreaking idea emerging now is that aging is actually more like a software glitch in our cells.
A software glitch, yeah. Not irreversible hardware damage to our DNA.
Which implies it could be debugged, maybe even reversed.
That's the core idea. It's a paradigm shift. Aging isn't necessarily inevitable DNA damage. It might be a reversible bug in our epigenome.
The epigenome. Okay, so that's not the DNA code itself.
No, think of it more like the settings on top of our DNA. The instructions that tell our genes when to turn on or off.
Right.
Like the operating system for our genetics.
Okay, like software settings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just like software settings, the idea is maybe these can be reset back to, say, factory default.
Wow. That changes everything.
It's transformative. And that's where the really exciting work comes in, like from Dr. David Sinclair's team at Harvard. They've literally made old mice young again at a cellular level. They restored sight to blind mice, reversed muscle degeneration.
So it's like hitting CTRL+Z on the aging process in these animals.
That's a great analogy. It's essentially like running CTRL+Z
Yeah.
on aging cells. And the secret sauce behind this reprogramming it often comes down to what people call the three magic factors: OCT2, SOX2, and KLF4. These are specific genes.
Okay.
Think of them like master switches. When you activate them in the right way, they can essentially tell an adult cell to reset its age to become young again, like restoring your computer to an earlier point.
A biological time machine almost. So if we can do that in mice, and I hear there are promising results in primates too, what does this mean for business right now?
It means things are moving incredibly fast into real-world application. Take Life Biosciences. Sinclair co-founded it. They're already pushing their sight restoration therapy, ER100, into human trials in 2025, targeting diseases like glaucoma first.
Restoring sight, that's huge.
It is, but it's likely just the beginning. The same core technology. It has potential for a whole range of age-related conditions. Think Alzheimer's, muscle wasting, maybe even infertility. But here's the crucial part for entrepreneurs and for, everyone: accessibility.
Right, because these sound like that'd be incredibly expensive gene therapies initially.
Exactly. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, potentially. But companies are already working hard on converting these complex therapies into something much simpler: affordable pills.
Pills. Like take a pill to reset your cellular age.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Imagine a treatment costing maybe around $100 a month. That's how you democratize this. That's how you open up a potential, billion-person market, not just for the super rich.
$100 a month. That's a completely different ballgame. That makes it mass market.
Precisely.
Okay, so epigenetic reprogramming is the engine. But how is all this science moving so incredibly fast? You mentioned the pace. Is Is AI playing a part here?
Oh, absolutely. AI is the turbocharger for this entire longevity revolution. You can't overstate its impact. The speed increase in drug discovery, thanks to AI, it's just astounding.
How so?
Well, think about traditional drug development. It takes decades, billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Now, with AI, we're talking compressing that timeline into months, potentially, not years.
In months instead of decades.
It's happening. Look at In Silico Medicine, founded by Alex Zavarenkoff. They use AI to identify promising longevity drug candidates, and they actually sold one to Exelixis for $80 million just last year in 2023. That's AI discovered.
Wow.
Then you have things like DeepMind's AlphaFold. It completely revolutionized how we understand protein structures. That alone accelerated research across the board. And nimble startups, they're leveraging AI in ways big pharma sometimes struggles with. They can identify new biological targets for longevity much faster. They're figuring out how to turn those expensive gene therapies we talked about into cheaper chemical alternatives pills. AI enables incredible personalization too, tailoring treatments based on your specific biology. And it can even predict which interventions are likely to work best for different groups of people, optimizing the whole process.
So AI is key to that $100,000 therapy becoming $100.
It's a huge factor in making that translation possible, yeah. Reducing costs, identifying alternatives.
Are there risks, though, relying so much on AI prediction in biology?
That's a really important point, and it's why rigorous validation is still absolutely critical. AI is amazing for generating hypotheses, finding patterns, speeding things up, but you still need human scientific oversight. You still need careful clinical trials. You need deep interpretation of the data. AI augments the scientists, doesn't replace them, but that cost reduction pathway. That's why you see people like Sam Altman investing directly in companies like Retro Bioscience. They see AI enabling that path to mass adoption.
Okay, so the science is racing ahead, AI is accelerating it, and the money is following. Often from these, well, unconventional tech billionaires, crypto fortune. It's fascinating, isn't it? The same people who bet big on something disruptive like Bitcoin seem drawn to betting even bigger on longevity. Why that connection? Both require such long-term thinking.
It really does speak to a specific investor mindset, doesn't it? A truly expansive, long-term vision for fundamental change. Brian Armstrong at New Limit is a perfect example. He's not just writing checks. Reports say he's deeply involved. His reasoning is apparently quite profound. If crypto can fundamentally change money, then biotech can fundamentally change life itself. It's about societal transformation.
That's a powerful motivator.
And when Bezos puts $3 billion into Alto's lab, that's more than just an investment. It's a massive statement, a belief that we're on the cusp of shift to human dish.
So for entrepreneurs listening, this opens up different funding avenues.
Absolutely. Dr. Masudi calls it an alternative funding goldmine. It goes way beyond traditional venture capital. We're seeing this surge of what you might call mission-driven capital, crypto wealth looking for long-term impact, family offices with patient capital, even these interesting models like Friends of Sinclair Lab that kind of blur philanthropy and investment. And celebrity partnerships are popping up too, not just endorsements, but active participation.
So the pitch needs to be different.
Yes. If you're an entrepreneur in this space, you need to frame it not just around the return on investment, but around the profound impact, changing the world alongside generating returns.
And the potential size of that impact, the market opportunity. The numbers are just mind-boggling. I saw a 2021 study mentioned in Dr. Masudi's overview, extending healthy human lifespan by just 1 year, one single year. The estimated economic value created global $38 trillion.
38 trillion, with a T. It's hard to even comprehend that scale.
And it's crucial, isn't it, that this is about healthy lifespan, not just keeping people alive longer in poor health.
Exactly. That's the key economic driver. Keeping people healthy, productive, contributing members of society for longer.
Think about the ripple effect. Reduced healthcare costs from fighting age-related diseases like dementia or heart failure. People having longer, more productive careers.
More time for innovation, creating wealth, maybe even reducing the strain on Social Security system. It touches everything.
So how does this massive potential translate into actual market segments for business?
Well, the traditional anti-aging market, cosmetics, supplements, that's already huge, projected near $120 billion by 2030.
Okay, substantial.
But that's just scratching the surface now. We're talking about entirely new segments focused on actual age reversal and extending health span. Personalized longevity protocols. That could easily be a $50 billion plus market.
Yeah.
The therapies themselves, the age reversal treatments, potentially $500 billion or more.
$500 billion.
Then you add longevity diagnostics to test to see how well you're aging biologically, another $100 billion plus market. And healthy aging consumer products, maybe $200 billion plus. It's exponential growth, not increment.
So with a market that's potentially enormous, how do companies actually tap into? Dr. Masudi seems to stress that it won't be a single magic pill for everyone. He says the future is about personalized protocol, tailored specifically for you.
That's right. One size fits all isn't going to cut it for maximizing health span.
So he outlines this kind of winning formula, combining several different approaches.
Yes, it's a multi-pronged strategy.
Wow.
Starts with deep genetic testing, not just the basic stuff, but moving towards whole genome sequencing to really understand your individual blueprint.
Okay, know your genes.
And then continuous monitoring. Think wearables like the Aura Ring, tracking sleep, activity, heart rate variability, all in real time. Constant data stream.
Got it. Wearable.
Then add advanced biological analysis. Things like transcriptomics, seeing which genes are active.
Yeah.
Proteomics, analyzing your proteins. Metabolomics, looking at your metabolic processes, understanding your microbiome, your gut health. Plus detailed blood biomarker analysis, like services such as Inside Tracker provide.
That's a lot of data on one person.
A huge amount. And that's where the final piece comes in. AI-powered optimization. Feeding all that genetic, wearable, and biomarker data into AI algorithms to generate truly custom recommendations. What supplements should you take? What lifestyle changes? What specific therapies might benefit you most?
Okay, so the business model here isn't just selling a test or a device.
No, Dr. Masudi flags this as a potential business model goldmine. Subscription everything.
Ah, recurring revenue.
Exactly.
Huh.
Imagine monthly genetic optimization reports, quarterly biomarker tests with analysis, continuous analysis of your wearable data. You're building lifetime customer value.
Lifetime value measured in decades.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
If these therapies extend health span significantly, look at a company like Inside Tracker. They combine blood tests with personalized advice. It sticks. People use it for years to optimize their health based on data.
Right.
Now imagine layering actual age reversal technologies onto that personalized, data-driven subscription model. That's where the really massive potential lies.
It sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But collecting and using all that intimate biological data, that must bring up huge regulatory questions, right? Especially with the FDA in the US. Is that a major hurdle for startups?
It's absolutely a critical hurdle. Regulatory compliance isn't just a good idea, it's survival. You have to get it right.
Any examples of where things went wrong?
The NMN story is a cautionary tale. NMN was this really promising supplement for longevity, lots of excitement, but then started being investigated formally as a drug, and suddenly the FDA changed its stance, restricting its sale as a supplement.
Out. So companies invested heavily, then...
Exactly. Some companies that understood the regulatory risks were able to adapt, maybe pivot their strategy. Others lost millions. It shows how quickly the ground can shift.
So what are the smart strategies Dr. Masudi suggests for navigating this?
Well, first, many startups are beginning with wellness or even cosmetic applications.
Yeah.
These often have less stringent regulatory pathways than full-blown drugs targeting specific diseases. It lets them build traction, generate revenue, gather data.
Start smaller, build proof.
Right. Second, build regulatory expertise early. Don't treat it as an afterthought. Have people on the team or expert consultants who really understand the FDA or equivalent agencies. Third, consider partnering. Collaborate with companies that already have deep experience navigating the FDA approval process. Learn from them. Leverage their expertise. And fourth, think internationally from the start. Regulatory landscapes differ significantly around the world. What might be challenging in the US could have a clearer path in Europe or Asia, or vice versa. It provides options.
Okay, that's really practical advice. So pulling it all together, for the scientists, entrepreneurs, investors listening who are excited by this space, what's the playbook? Dr. Masudi seems to boil it down. He gives these 4 key steps in his longevity startup playbook. First, pick your battle, right? The field is huge.
You can't do everything.
So focus. Are you tackling a specific disease like Life Biosciences going after blindness, or consumer wellness personalized plans, monitoring? Maybe you're building AI tools for researchers, or focusing squarely on accessibility, making therapy cheap.
You need that clear focus.
Second, build your dream team. He stresses this isn't a solo mission.
Definitely not.
You need that scientific credibility, partnerships with top researchers. You absolutely need regulatory know-how, especially FDA smart. AI capability is basically non-negotiable now. And of course, strong business sense to actually build a sustainable company.
It's a multidisciplinary game.
Third, think beyond pills. The biggest successes won't just sell a product.
Right. It's about the ecosystem.
They'll offer technology platforms others can build on, subscription services for that recurring revenue, data insights, monetizing the information safely and ethically, and building a community longevity if folks are passionate and engaged.
Create ongoing value.
And finally, step 4, plan for scale. Even if you start with affluent early adopters
Who are often willing to pay a premium for cutting-edge tech.
you need a clear path to the mass market eventually. That means thinking about different tiers, premium, mass, planning for global expansion, maybe even platform plays where other companies use your core tech.
Always have that bigger vision in mind.
So taking all this in, the science, the investment, the market, the strategies, where does this leave us?
Dr. Masudi argues, and I think convincingly, that we're at a genuine inflection point. The science is hitting escape velocity, the serious money is flowing in, the tools like AI are accelerating everything, and the market is clearly waking up to the potential.
An inflection point, like what?
He compares it to the iPhone moment back around 2006. Before the iPhone, we couldn't really imagine the app economy, ride-sharing, manufacturing, mobile, everything.
Sure.
Longevity tech, he suggests, is like that now. It's poised to create entirely new industries, entirely new trillion-dollar markets that we can barely even conceive of today. The foundations have shifted.
So the smart money isn't asking if this will happen anymore.
According to Dr. Masudi, no. The smart money is asking who is going to solve key pieces of the aging puzzle first, and just how big will this market ultimately become. They see it as inevitable.
So there you have it, the longevity revolution. It really isn't some far-off future thing. It seems like it's happening right now. The fountain of youth, it turns out, isn't hidden in some mythical spring. It's being built in the lab, coded in the algorithm, and driven by the bold vision of entrepreneurs who are refusing to accept aging as just inevitable. The only real question left, perhaps, is whether you'll be watching this unfold from the sidelines or if you'll be part of building that.
Indeed. And it forces us to think about the profound implications, doesn't it? If we achieve even part of this vision, longer, healthier lives for many, what does that mean? What does it mean for our families, our careers, our societies, our economies, even our understanding of what it fundamentally means to be human? That's a question worth some deep reflection.